Hey, it's me, Veer. I'm here again doing another video on female dating strategy. I got a request from someone to go further into their ideology, so that is what I'm doing right now. So, let's get things started. I want to jump into things real quick just in case you didn't watch the last video. The subdescription states that this is effective dating strategy for women that know that they want and prefer to be able to take control of their dating lives. This also includes strategies to maintain a relationship that benefits you, plus tips on how to deal with some of the negative strategies for men that you encounter. And that is what I'm going to be looking at today. They have a set of ideologies and a glossary of terms that they use to explain their philosophies and worldview. Starting off things right off the bat, their first ideology is to be a high-value woman. Right here, it says, a high-value woman is a woman who doesn't revolve her life around men. She has her own career, hobbies, and a great social life that fulfills her emotional needs. So if she does welcome a man into her life, he better be amazing. A high-value woman also does not romanticize men's true nature, therefore she's cautious around them and wants them to prove themselves to her before she gets emotionally attached. Now, I don't have much to say about this first one. I think you should strive to always be the best person you can, and this is a version of that, so there isn't much to complain about right here. The only thing I have to say about it is, it says right here, a high-value woman doesn't romanticize men's true nature, and I have to ask, how the fuck do you know a man's true nature? Like, there are so many men on this world, right? And we all have our own natures about us. Like, there is no one true nature of being a man. So yeah, I have no idea what they're talking about right here, and it's vague as fuck. It doesn't define what a man's true nature is. Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to interview someone because I don't have much experience with dating myself. So I got in contact with one of my friends who have more experience with this kind of thing than I do, and I asked him about all of these ideologies and I got his opinion on them. So you'll be hearing from someone who has more experience in this realm of dating. Pardon the audio quality because it took place, the conversation took place over WhatsApp and my phone quality microphone isn't all that great. So, excuse that, but here it is. Here's the first question. Okay, so I'm looking at the ideology that they have in their sidebar, and they have like this list of things that defines their philosophy. The first thing listed here is be a high value woman, but I don't have anything to ask you about that. The second thing is, if a man isn't chasing you, he's not into you. What's your opinion on that?
Open quotes. The man's role is to be the pursuer, the one to convince you that he's the right one for you. As a woman, you don't have to prove yourself to him. He either sees your value or he doesn't. The only thing that's within your control is becoming your best self. End quote. Okay, I definitely have to disagree with this statement. Why should the man be the pursuer? The pursuer should be the one that is more interested or invested in the relationship, or whatever ship might come out of the situation. A man shouldn't have to convince you that he's the right one for you. You should know who you want and what you deserve. And honestly, if you don't, then you don't deserve anyone. Why shouldn't a woman have to prove themselves? Is it that only the male wants to be in the relationship? Because if that's the case, then the effort should be from both parties, and that effort should be equal, because that's how a relationship works. It's a partnership, right? It's not going to work out if one person feels like they're reaching too much, or they feel as if they're what should I say? Because if I'm in a relationship and I feel like I'm reaching too much, then I'm going to lose interest. That's how it works. It's that simple. Personally, I wouldn't be interested in a woman that wants me to prove myself to her. That's just one way of her saying that she's better than me and I don't deserve her until she says so. I'm sorry, but honestly, if as a female you think like this, then you have no value.
Damn, he's pulling an Uno reverse card on them. If they think like that, they have no value. Anyways, I more or less agree. Like, I wouldn't say that they don't have value, because everybody has value to a certain extent, but the way they think does kind of emphasize how their approach to it. Like, they view men as lower, so they view men as these things that have to prove themselves to them. You feel me? So, yeah, that's the first thing. That's the second one. Yeah, that's the second ideology. We're moving. Okay, this is an interesting one. Don't have sex before commitment has been established if you're looking for a relationship, or before he has demonstrated value and investment if you're looking for friends with benefits. If a man is really into you and sees you as girlfriend material, he will commit to you in 2 months or 3 months max. If you're looking to have a dependable friends with benefits, you must still require investment from him so he provides you the respect and fun times that you want.
Alright, I can't agree or disagree with this one just like that, because it's a bit of a gray area. I can understand the need for an establishment of commitment, but committing yourself to someone that you don't know that you'll be okay with is kind of a stupid idea. So I'd suggest having sex before committing yourself to someone. So then if the sex is horrible or you just don't like it, then you don't really have anything to worry about because you haven't been committed as yet. Sex is a very big factor in relationships, and anybody that says otherwise is stupid. The friends with benefits thing, it's not what it was. I remember friends with benefits being just friends that have sex. That is what it's supposed to be, but now you're providing emotional comfort and a lot of other things for the female, or I guess the male, depending on the situation. And so it's not what it used to be. The whole friends with benefits thing is a gray area. How relationships work for me is that I'm not going to just meet someone and then, randomly start to date them. No. First, we have to be friends for at least a few months so I can see what you're like and what you do. And then I'll consider dating you. That's how you're supposed to do it. You're not supposed to just meet someone and just randomly start dating them. No, that is not a smart thing to do. And you will get hurt if you do stuff like that. You need to know the person that you're going to be intimate with.
Okay, so right here it says, most straight men aren't relationship material for you. The majority of the advances you receive from men are not of any value, because the majority of them are from men who only want you for sex. Many men are sex-driven, low-effort, and entitled. However, there are also men out there who can be amazing boyfriends and husbands, who know how to be a man, etc., etc., and know how to take care of you in all ways. I don't know if this is something I can just straight up ask for an opinion, but do you have an opinion where how do I say this? Do you have an opinion on the fact that most straight men aren't relationship material?
Yes, I do have an opinion on that. I'll have to agree with them, the saying about most straight men are sex driven, because it is sort of true, but from what I've seen in my life, the males that are sex driven are the males that have been hurt or were hurt in the past by females. Like, usually, what I've seen is that they start out as a loyal, committed boyfriend who wants, just one relationship, etc., etc., going through life. And then whatever happens, the relationship ends and they become heartbroken. And because of that pain, and I just did air quotes, by the way, the pain that they feel, they decide that, oh, I don't ever want to experience this again, so I'm never going to get attached to anyone ever. Which you can't really blame them for. It's a very stupid way to go about it, but it is logical. I mean, why wouldn't you avoid the thing that hurts you?
I said that that was an interesting perspective. It's one breed of fucked up versus another breed of fucked up on both the female dating strategy side and the men that they hate side. So, yeah, next question. And speaking of equality, the last one, generous men are non-negotiable. I have no idea what they mean by this, but it says right here, while we believe in having your own career and making your own money, a man still has to add financial value to your life and make you feel like he can take care of you. This means not splitting the bill and not dating financially challenged men. And I touched on this in the last video where I said that FDS believes that the men should always foot the bill. So they believe that the man should always pay. What do you think?
By generous men are non-negotiable, I think they mean guys that are really kind to some extent. I don't know. Like, for instance, guys like me and you, right? We'd help a female regardless of the situation or whatever she needed. If we had it and we could help, we would help. I guess that's what they don't want, because that's the type of thing that makes someone start to develop feelings for you, I guess. But men adding financial value to their life should be a choice, but I understand their perspective because that's how it's always been. Men are usually the breadwinners in the family. They are supposed to be providers. That's what we've done. That's what we made women think. We made them think like that we're supposed to provide everything and they'll be fine. We provide comfort, safety, and money. And they just, I don't know, absorb shit. But anyways, I think that a level-headed woman or a down-to-earth woman would move from that point of view and evolve to know that that's not how it works, especially a woman that is all about equality for men and women. So you say that means that you should also add financial value to the guy's life. Because I'm not going to take up a woman that will just make my life that much harder. If you have nothing to offer, then I don't want you. That is stupid.
That is stupid indeed. And there you have it, somebody who has way more experience in this romance game than I do, talking about what is on female dating strategy. On that note, I'd like to thank Tev for lending his experience and wisdom on the topic beforehand. Not beforehand. Lending his wisdom on the topic. Anyways, we'll move on to the glossary that they have. They have some interesting terms in there, and I'll pick out the most interesting ones that I see and read them to you and explain them, or try to explain them at least. Maybe even analyze them. First off, we've got the term bitch. Now, you'd think that being the pro-female sub that r/female dating strategy is, you'd think that the term bitch would be very frowned upon. But no, they very much look at themselves as bitches, and that is because to them, a bitch is a confident woman that knows her standards and refuses to lower them for any man. If a man tries to give her less than she deserves, she politely shows him that he is replaceable. Contrary to popular belief, this is a compliment instead of an insult. There's an easy joke here, and I'm not going to make it. Big dick energy, a certain aura emanating from a male that indicates he'll deliver an unforgettable sexual experience. Men with BDE don't have a fragile sense of masculinity and are not insecure. They're used to dealing with confident women. BDE men are observant and intuitive, which indicates that they read body language well, and I actually made a note of this. Just because a man is observant and intuitive doesn't necessarily mean that he reads body language well. Yes, you have to be intuitive and observant to like read body language, above averagely. Yeah, whatever. Just go along with what I'm saying, please. Those two things don't really mean that they'll like guarantee each other. Like, you can be observant and intuitive, however, read body language like shit. Maybe you're on the spectrum, who knows? Does this mean that people on the spectrum don't have big dick energy? Seeing as though they don't read body language well, that is one of the symptoms, after all. And then you also have the subjectivity of what is this aura. Like, there are certain women who are going to get this aura from men, and there are certain women who will not get this aura from those same men. Like, this is a very subjective thing. So apparently I'm gonna just guess that different men have big dick energy to the different woman. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, they have a different kind of dick energy for each woman they meet, seeing as though the impression that they leave on those women varies. I am 90% sure what I said just makes no sense whatsoever, but I'm gonna leave it in there anyways. We're continuing. An interesting one, Stockholm Syndrome. A play on words for the term Stockholm Syndrome. This is a woman who is so male-identified that they defend the worst men beyond all logic or reason. These women are actively self-harming through the relationship through men. So yeah, apparently relationships can be a form of self-harm now. The more you know, I guess. Next up is drive-by therapy. When a new man you're getting to know tries to use you as his personal therapist. And the reason I picked this one is because there are both men and women who do this, right? Like, this is not a behavior that is exclusive to men only. So, it's, yeah, like, both women and men do it. Next up is one of my favorites. It's the whole HVM and LVM bullshit. It's like, apparently, according to them, an HVM is a man that is respectful, loyal, and faithful. He loves to show his woman that he can provide. He pays for dates, always, and a relatively high proportion of expenses in the relationship. So not only is he paying for dates, but he is paying for everything that the woman needs. Or so I'm to guess, because expenses of the relationship is sort of vague. That can encompass a lot of things, but apparently the guy is supposed to pay for the relationship essentially to these women. This is a man that is confident, consistent, and reliable. These type of men take care of their body, face, and physical appearance. HVMs care about their partner's happiness and sexual pleasure. The HVM exhibits the mate guarding instinct. I have no fucking clue what that is, and it is not defined in this goddamn glossary anywhere. However, he does not force monogamy on a woman. He will wait until she is sure that his offer of commitment is a good idea. These men love competition and understand that a woman can entertain multiple suitors until commitment is established. In other words, they expect the man to commit to you. However, they expect no commitment on their part whatsoever until they feel like it, essentially. Instead of being offended that she doesn't zero in on him in the early dating stages, he takes this as an opportunity to show her why he is the best. Now, I would love to give the benefit of the doubt, right, and assume that these ladies hold the men to the same standards, right? Like they allow them to date multiple partners while they date multiple partners. But you and I already know that is not the case. I heavily doubt that is the case, right? Um, the way that this is written, I can kind of get that they expect the man to be committed to them and like wait on their approval, essentially. Also, if you want a dose of perspective, generally a man who thinks that he should pay for everything and do a lot of these things that these women want, like most of us would call them a simp. Like that's just kind of fact. Like I've seen people get called simps for lesser things, really. So I would argue that these women want a simp. A simp that has a good body is what I'm getting. I don't know. And now, lower down you have an LVM, which stands for low value male. And you also have HVW, which is high value woman, and LVW, which is low value woman. None of these are defined, but for some reason high value male is. I have no idea. So, take that as you will, I guess. You have some funnier ones like penis pass denied, refusing to let a man off without actual consequences for illegal behavior. For example, calling men out for their misogyny when they use post-nut clarity as an excuse for breadcrumbing. I have no idea how that is illegal, and that is the reason why this is in there. Like, post-nut clarity is not illegal, okay? Like, you can't make it illegal as much as you want it to. You also have Big Dick Energy's little cousin, Small Dick Energy, a certain arrow emanating from a male that indicates he'll deliver a subpar sexual experience and is probably insecure. So, ooh, okay. Men with SDE are the lazy sloth type, are too serious or lacking an actual sense of humor, immature slash childish, and entitled. So essentially, me. Yeah, that's small dick energy. Apparently, a majority of men have small dick energy, even though a majority of men have average sized dicks. It's like basic maths, man. It's an average for a reason. But I guess we're talking about energy here, so your actual dick size doesn't matter. So, if I haven't gotten it across so far, these, like this that I'm explaining to you, it might seem like some sort of, I don't know, just some weird encyclopedia shit. Like all of this that I'm explaining to you are all like legitimate beliefs, like a worldview. These are legitimate worldviews that people have, and everything that they interpret, romantically at least, is through these lens. So to these people in the sub, there are legitimately people who are categorized into high value, low value, big dick energy, small dick energy, zero value, and a whole lot of things. It's amazing. It's almost like the red pill when it comes down to just very odd worldview. There's also some other interesting stuff here. For example, they look down on BDSM because apparently any form of like sexual disempowerment is something they look down on. So if a woman is a sub, they look down on that and they like disown any form of BDSM. It's right here. Like they legit just disagree with the concept of BDSM overall and think it shouldn't be a thing. Which is just a whole nother bug forms, and it actually quite reminds me of how I live in Jamaica, right? So there was this thing a couple years ago. I don't know if it's still a thing now, but there was this thing going around where all the dudes didn't want to go down on the woman, like they didn't want to go down on their girlfriends because it was seen as bowing down to a woman, and like because it was sort of like ingrained into the culture that you shouldn't bow down to a woman. um Men all around the country like disavow that, right? like you would get made fun of if you do that, right? So it reminds me of that. Like, just because it it looks bad from a sexual point of view, I guess. I don't know, like being lower in some kind of way, it just triggers these ladies, and they just don't understand it. So yeah, that's the thing. I'm sorry, I'm not really explaining it that well, but it's the whole reason I'm kind of doing this YouTube thing, to get better at explaining things and telling stories and explaining my point of view, and hopefully at some point I'll become actually engaging. There's one last thing I want to touch on, and this is actually quite interesting. In their sidebar, there is a list of recommended YouTube channels, and I don't recognize a majority of them, but there is one that I do recognize, and it's this one right here, Shellen Lester. Apparently, Shellen Lester is a FDS themed YouTube channel, and they support her. Here's the thing, right? I think it was Jay Aubrey. It was either Jay Aubrey or The Right Opinion who recently did a video on her, and she is essentially pretty like she's a fucked up character is what I'm trying to say, and she's probably sociopathic. I'm not going to throw psychological evaluations around, but it's arguable that she is. So yeah, questionable character. I'd recommend you check out the video, and like seeing her name here was actually quite surprising. So yeah, that's about all that I have to say. Thank you for watching this far. If you have, I know I'm not the best at explaining things, so I'm truly grateful if you have watched this far. And yeah, that's about it. That's all that I've had to say. I'll see you in my next video. Peace. Hey again, it's me, Ver. I have something else to say. Um, Due to the rate at which I make these YouTube videos, it's a bit too slow for the original goal of why I'm doing it, which is to improve the way I the way I explain things off the bat. Like, I'm trying to improve my improv skills, basically. And I'm gonna have some links to some podcasts where I can upload more frequently, seeing as though the audio gets finished way earlier than the actual visual aspect of the videos. So I'm gonna start a podcast where I upload more often on there. So, if you want to hear my voice more often, hear me talk about shit, then, in the description I'm gonna have a link to some places you can follow me on. So, yeah, thanks again. Cheers. Bye bye.